Hello, good afternoon. It's coming up to 1 p.m. on Wednesday the 13th of October. I'm off on my bicycle to the Black Mountains in South Wales and I'm spending the night in a bothy. I hope I am anyway. I bought a bivvy bag just in case. I left my home in Bath mid-morning and then I skirted around the outskirts of Bristol, headed up to the Severn Bridge, the old Severn Bridge, the M48, cycled across that to the outskirts of Chepstow, and now I'm on this B road that runs from Chepstow across to Usk. In fact, there's a big hill coming up and then it drops down to the Usk Valley. Then I'll head north from there to Abergavenny, pick up some supplies, mainly some water, hopefully some beer or some cider for tonight, and some bread rolls for in the morning. And then you turn off. It's a fairly innocuous looking road near a big bus stop, and then you just basically head out of town and it becomes really remote as you head up into the Black Mountains, and it heads up towards Grin 4 Reservoir. Apologies if I've mispronounced that or mashed it up. And the reservoir's got a big dam there, and I head up to the height of the top of the dam, and then you follow the reservoir along, and then you drop down to Grin 4 Bothy. I've stayed there before. In fact, it's the only time I've ever stayed in a bothy before. So for anyone who doesn't know much about bothies, and that would include me, I believe it's a first come first serve basis. So it's potluck whether when I get there I've got it to myself or I have to share. I don't even know if it's still open, to be honest. The COVID restrictions are slightly different in Wales as well. You still need to wear masks in supermarkets, so it's a bit hit and miss. Feels like an adventure. As I said, I've bought the bivvy bag just in case. I'm going to have my lunch here, start the big climb up over towards Usk. As I just drop over past the summit, you emerge with some woods and then you get a really good view, your first really good view of mid Wales. You get a distant view of the Brecon Beacons on the left hand side, and to the right of them is the Black Mountains, and that's my destination. So I'll maybe stop and just show you that on my descent down towards us. Meanwhile, I'm going to have my lunch here. I'm on the road from Chepstow that way towards Usk. I've climbed up through the woods near Newton. I've just passed over the summit. There's an alpaca farm up there. Then you drop down through this tree canopy and then the scenery just opens up. You're looking right up into the hills and the mountains of mid Wales. So right in front of us would be the Brecon Beacons. Then they kind of merge into the Black Mountains. I don't really know whether there's a definitive finish point between the two. If anybody does know that, please tell me. Let's have a quick zoom in. Wow, that's our destination for this evening, those hills. It's now 4 p.m. and I've just passed up through the middle of Abergavenny. In fact, I don't often cycle through this centre. I normally take the ring road round. I've stocked up on beer, water and bread rolls, and now I'm taking that rather innocuous looking road up there, and that leads right up into, well, the dead end road, which then becomes a track. So I'll talk to you a bit further up there as I leave the town. There was a long steady drag out of Abergavenny. It wasn't particularly steep, but when you're laden up, I got a lot of weight over my back wheel. It made me sweat a bit. You pass a school and a housing estate, and then it just opens up to this lovely countryside. You can see the mountains starting to appear. And there's more hills in front of us where we're heading. Just gets quieter and quieter along here. My Garmin estimates I've got less than an hour to go, although I know some of that, the last couple of miles or so, is going to be on a gravel track, so I'll take that estimate with a pinch of salt, but about 12 miles to go. Soon after that long climb out of Abergavenny, it levelled off and then there was a sharp right hand turn and it carried on climbing up that way, and then it's just dropped down here. Anybody who knows this area will know just over there is the Gospel Pass climbing up over Capley Finn. In fact, I've just seen the sign for Capley Finn. That would be right over there. We're heading up here, as you can see, no through road, up towards Grin 4 Reservoir. I'm now at the end of the tarmac. See the river there coming off the reservoir. The reservoir and the dam wall is along there. I'm going to be heading up that track. In fact, there's a couple of army vehicles just back 100 yards or so, and I've just seen an army ambulance start driving up there. The first time I came along here, I'd Google mapped it, and I thought if I went right the way along there, there's a service road and it takes you right up the dam wall, and I thought I could scramble up the side of a bank to the top of the dam, but I just couldn't. Luckily, I didn't have to detour all the way back here. Halfway back, I was able to sort of snake up the side of the hill. But today I'm going to try this. As I said, I've just seen a four-wheel drive ambulance go up there, so let's give it a go. It's 10 to 6. I'm going to be running out of daylight in about 40 minutes. My Garmin says 12 minutes to go, but I'll take that with a pinch of salt. It's now 6:30 and it's been a long grind up, but I'm at parallel, or I'm at the same elevation rather, the top of the dam. You can see just some of the water's coming through and giving that nice foamy white effect. Right below there's a big army camp. In fact, I've just passed 3 or 4 groups of Gurkhas coming up, faces all black, DP, got their rifles and everything. It looks like they're out for the night, really does. My Garmin's saying 0.6 miles to go, so I really need to get there now. So straight along here, as I remember, the next bit's rideable, and then I'll get right above the Bothy next to the reservoir, and then there's not exactly steps, but there's angles cut into the hill which act as steps. Oh, I'm getting so tired. I just need to get there now. I'll speak to you when we get there. Nearly there. Just get up the brow of this hill, you can see the Bothy. It's like a little shed down there. There it is. Wow, so looking forward to getting there. It's now 10 to 9 outside the Bothy. You might hear the waterfall behind me flowing down into the reservoir. Getting here at dusk was quite a challenge actually. I had to take some of the bags off the bike and then try and wheel the bike with both brakes down a really steep slippery slope, and then when I got here you may see there's a couple of lights in the window. A couple of guys here already. The capacity is 3 and one guy stuck his head through the door, realised there was 2 guys in there already, chose not to stay the night, so he went off in a tent. I came in, so I'm the 3rd person. It was, like I said, quite a challenge to get down. Really nice sort of sitting there with a couple of guys. It's quite illuminated, much more illuminated than last time I was here actually. We've got some quite powerful LED lanterns. Just sat there with a few beers, chewing the fat, and they're sleeping upstairs in the loft, and I'm going to have the downstairs. I'm just going to sleep on the floor. I picked up a free community newspaper at Bitton railway station. I was going to use it to start a fire if there was any wood here, but there's not, so I can actually use that as almost like a ground sheet to put my sleeping mat on and then my sleeping bag. So the 2 guys will be upstairs, I'm going to be downstairs, which is a bit more convenient if I need to get up in the night. This is the inside of the bivvy then. There's a ladder to the upstairs. That's the sleeping balcony up there. Cooking table, wood burner, no wood, a couple of candles, communal seat. And the door I've just come through, so you see it's pretty cosy and compact in here. One of the tips I was given when I first looked into Bothian was take some tea lights and some candles out. It'll make the place a lot more cosy. It won't heat it up, but it'll just make it feel warmer and cozier. Having said that, the 3 LED lights, there's only one of them shining now, but that's more than made this feel welcomed in tonight. Another funny story I heard was if you want to completely spook someone out in a Bothy, go outside and tap the window. It's now 7:30 AM on Wednesday the 14th, and I've just got up. You can see it's very atmospheric up here. It was so mild last night, it really was. I came out last night about midnight for a comfort stop, and I saw lots of red lights coming down there, and as soon as I put my light on to see what I was doing, they all went out. I think that was the soldiers on their exercises. That's looking upstream. That's why I had to scramble down in the dark last night. That was quite hairy, it really was. Had to come down in 2 goes. The bike with 1 pannier, then had to go back up and get the other pannier and all the water. It was just too heavy to bring it down. I remember from my last visit there are some more straight, not really steps, it's just a more defined path going up that way. So when I went back up for my second pannier and the water, I went out that way, but I hardly see what I was doing. And then I brought the second pannier and the water down this way, but really I could hardly see what I was doing by then. Quarter-past 8 now, on my second cup of coffee. I had breakfast, just trying to get all my packing done in a limited space, and then I'll try and be on my way soon after 9 AM. As you can see, it's quite muddy leading up to the Bothy. Again, I was doing all this in almost a pitch black last night. I hadn't got my head torch out in time, so all I had was my bicycle light. That's why I left it last night. There was no room for it inside. That's looking back, so that's almost like the staircase going up. You can see how steep it is. I'll try and lift the bike up there this morning, come back for the panniers. I may have to make about 2 or 3 journeys back along there. The other thing, there was quite hill mist and sort of almost like misty rain by the time I got here last night. As you can see, the ground's quite boggy there. I would have put my bivvy up there. There's no way I could have got back up the hill last night, so I wasn't room in there, but I would have been bivvied there this morning. I'm glad I didn't have to be honest. Anyway, go back in, have my second cup of coffee, finish my packing, and then start making preparations to leave. It's now 9:10 in the morning, and I'm back up near the track. Gives you an idea of how precipitous this drop is. So last night I wheeled the bike with 1 pannier down that way, following the course of the fence down to the river. That was treacherous enough, and then you do more of a switch back there, and that's the way I've just brought the bike up this morning. But with the bags, I scrambled straight up here, which was actually not too bad. Getting back down was worse. I should have gone that way. So I brought the bags up here, left them here, went back for the bike and wheeled up here. Then I'll just get through the fence up there. Just beyond that metal gate there is the corrugated iron barrier, is the pass back along the reservoir. I think it'll be a bit quicker this morning because I can see where I'm going. Also, the wind's picking up a little bit. The forecast is for a southwesterly, so it should be beneficial on my way back. It's 10 past 10 now, 9 minutes past in fact, and I seem to remember it was 9:08 when I started reassembling my bike at the top of the hill overlooking the Bothy, so about an hour to get along there. To be honest, if you come along here, the hardest bit I would say is this first bit up here. It's muddy and it's quite rocky. Once you actually get about a quarter of a mile up, you actually start following a very gradual track up. And I found most of that rideable, especially coming back this morning. In fact, if anything, the bike was running away from me a bit. At least when you're riding uphill, you can control the speed more. A couple of times I had to really ram the brakes on when I suddenly saw a rock. Anyway, that was a fantastic adventure. So that was the road. This is the road that I was looking down on, where the army's camped up right at the bottom of the wall of the dam. I'm aware I haven't been making many videos recently. I've been doing quite a lot of other things, but my plan is to have a few adventures over the autumn and winter, and this was one of them. Because I normally go youth hosting in the winter, that's just still very prohibitively expensive. I couldn't find anything less than a whole dormitory what I would have to book as a solo traveller for £79. I mean, I've just been and booked 4 nights in a Premier Inn at Goodwington Sands with my wife for £118. I mean, that works out as what, £59 each for a week. So that sort of puts that into context. I'll probably try and do a travel lodge overnighter, possibly a couple, as I tried to do last year, but I had to sort of rebook them due to the lockdown. So there's certainly that uncertainty, and also some camping as well. I'm just going to be looking for any other ideas as well. This Bothy has been fantastic. It feels like a real adventure. Much harder than I thought it was going to be. And getting there in the dark last night was just my mistake really. I should have left home much earlier. I forgot just how hard it was riding up here, especially with all that added weight with the water and the beer and everything and the food. So that's going to make riding home a lot easier this morning, I hope. Plus the fact I've got a tailwind as well. It's now 5:30 and I'm almost home. I'm just crossing the river at Saltford. You'll see Kelston Roundhill behind me. I just wanted to do a little addition at the end of the video. I wanted to just put the level of difficulty of this trip into perspective. Just think it's a responsible thing to do. People who follow me regularly will know that I quite often do 200s throughout the year without too much difficulty. They're never easy, but yesterday was 65 miles. That's just over 100 kilometers, and I got there shattered last night. And the other thing I would add is there's no telephone reception up there. If you get in trouble, you really need to be prepared for it and be self-sufficient. There's no telephone reception soon after you leave Abergavenny, once you actually join the valley leading up to the reservoir, so just be aware of that. And when I turned off that track at the end of the tarmac road near the dam, I think my Garmin estimated something like, was it 12 or 16 or 18 minutes? It took me over an hour in the end. That was quite hard riding along there, 2.4 miles, so just bear that in mind. I would say over half of it is rideable, even with someone like myself with limited mountain bike skills, but there's certainly places I had to push. When I got there, it was very difficult getting down to the Bothy in the dark, so I would say try and get there before dusk, that's for sure. And the other thing was, as I've explained already, there was 2 in there already. In fact, one person had put his head through the door and said, oh no, I'll go and camp. Luckily for me, when I got there, I was the 3rd person because it wouldn't have accommodated anymore. 2 turned up later on. So just be prepared. If you do get there, it could well be too busy to accommodate you. So I took a bivvy. I'm really glad I didn't have to use it, but I had the bivvy there as a backup. So I would say take a backup on the assumption that you may not be able to stay there overnight. It's a fantastic location. I would say go for it, but you do need to be quite experienced and very self-reliant, self-sufficient. So I would sort of say, yeah, go for it, but just be very prepared and I would sort of say be on the side of caution really. But yeah, fantastic adventure. Anyway, enough of the lecture. I want to get home and have my lasagna. I've got some scrumpy cider in the fridge as well. This really is it. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.